Looking forward was the theme of the 4th annual State of the Community Luncheon that took place on Friday at Staffords Perry Hotel in Petoskey. Hosted by the Petoskey Regional Chamber of Commerce and sponsored by Chase, the luncheon featured speakers addressing topics including the state of education, culture, tourism, and the economy. Although Governor Jennifer Granholm announced serious news with her plans to dismantle history, arts, and libraries during her State of the State address on February 3rd, Liz Ahrens, Executive Director of Crooked Tree Arts Center in Petoskey, said the state of culture in the community is strong.
We knew this because I'm on this state board. We knew that she was going to do this a couple weeks ago. So we reached out to our constituents and said, you know what, it's okay as long as the funding to each individual component stays in place. And Carlin tells me that that funding might stay in place for '09. We don't know about 2010. To give you an idea, the Crooked Tree Arts Center downtown here, we have about a $1.2 million operating budget. And thank you, Chase, for helping us with that. But we received $21,800 from the state of Michigan. So it's not a huge amount of money in the 1.2, but when that goes away, it's going to definitely have an impact. On the local level with our arts organizations, there have been cuts. I had to lay a staff member off. There's 12 people on my staff. You know, you'll look them in the eye. I know other arts organizations have had to do that. We're just like everyone else. We have to make the same business decisions. We still want, just as you want to, you know, Crane wants us to buy a car, or Fletcher's, or who am I going to miss there if I don't say everybody, Brown. They all want us to buy a car. All the arts organizations on the opposite side of that want you to support the arts. But that doesn't always mean, oh, I got to be careful, just writing that check. It's actually knowing that they're really part of your lives.
When speaking about the state of tourism, Bill Keesing, general manager of the Inn at Bay Harbor, said, "Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow."
I'll just give you one footnote on our end. The Inn at Bay Harbor on our side is up 13% in the month of January. So we have not seen what people have seen downstate.
Despite Boyne's numbers, the general manager said the national forecast for 2009 is anything but good. Keesing said the key to survival is wrapping yourself around your customers and not letting them go.
Around the customers you have now, and never let them get away from us. That's what we got to do.
Diane Litzenberger, Director of Communications for Shoreham ISD, said she gets to see acts of magic every day in the schools, but that climate is changing in this economy. Litzenberger said 11 school districts have trimmed $22 million from their budgets, and next year doesn't look better with fewer academic offerings, bigger class sizes, and fewer services.
I'm sure you've seen the headlines. East Jordan Schools is looking to cut $750,000. Charlevoix is possibly looking at $800,000 to $1 million in cuts. Petoskey, $400,000 this year and possibly $1 million next. The local schools within the intermediate school district are all in that same boat or close to, and the same across the state. Statewide, more than 3,000 school jobs have been cut. Our 11 school districts have trimmed $22 million from their budgets. Collectively, they've laid off 171 employees, and another 73 staff members have lost their jobs. Often we hear about the headlines of what's happening with a factory or something like that. If we put us all together, we'd be a couple factories that have closed. Next year, unfortunately, doesn't look a whole lot better. 72% of the school leaders across America plan to eliminate some jobs, and that really suggests that there's a stark reality of fewer academic offerings that'll be out there, larger class sizes, and less student services when our children go back to school next year.
Andy Hayes, president of the Northern Lakes Economic Alliance, said while Northern Michigan is a collection of small rural areas, together the areas make us strong as a region.
People will go somewhere because they choose to be there. Now, if we can surround them with entrepreneurial opportunities and an entrepreneurial culture, access to capital or money, these people will be attracted to our area, and they will either work with our existing companies and help them grow, or they'll figure out a way to create a company and grow from there. So that's the difference between the old way of thinking and the new way of thinking.
Hayes said the Northern Lakes Economic Alliance has been working with local government, and the stimulus package in our 4-county area is already close to $150 million. He said there are 4 areas that will help Northern Michigan diversify auto industry offerings that will be very important as we move our economy forward. Those are aeronautics, medical, government, and wind and alternative energy.
Now, we're also very aware of the stimulus packages coming in, and we've been working as best we can with our various local units of government as they prepare their lists and for shovel-ready sites and projects, and the stimulus package is changing all the time, and we don't know exactly what the finished product will be. But I'll tell you this, in our little 4-county area, and we don't even have all of the lists that have been submitted by our local units of government for all of the shovel-ready projects that are going to go. But it's already, just in our area, $150 million. So you multiply that times around the country, and you can see it's going to be quite a challenge to figure out a way to get that money to help our area. If this involves your company or people you work with, things that will be very important as we move our economy forward here in the coming year. The first thing is we all know the importance of the auto industry in Michigan and the spin-off effect it has. And if you're making widgets or you're making something for the auto industry, you can very easily make it for these other 4 areas too. Obviously aeronautics, wind, alternative energy, medical. In fact, it was interesting. Medical is so broad, I couldn't even find a picture that even depicts something that even come close to all the various opportunities in the medical industry, and then selling to the government. So helping our companies that are now working with the auto industry to diversify, and so they're not so dependent on auto, will be one very important thing that we'll be working on.
In Petoskey, I'm Julie Witta for PetoskeyNews.com.